you have these people go on Facebook or whatever, and their friends are like, are you going to come down to protest? Because we're going to go protest the mayor. And they're like, oh my God, that's so cool. I totally want to protest. And they show up, and then they're handed a sign, because typically they'll make a bunch of signs and hand them out. And then you get these really dumb, 20-somethings who are like, I'm mad about something I've never researched. I'm mad about something I've never researched.
That's so accurate, though.
And then the organizer,
that is it right there.
Then the organizers open up the gate to a private lot, and they go, right this way, my friends. And they're like, yeah, I'm mad. I have no idea where I'm going.
But you go ahead. I'm going to wait out here on the legal, where we're legally allowed to protest. I'm sure that's what happened, too.
And then why are these people yelling? It's a public street. Because they have no idea what's happening around them.
Exactly.
It's dangerous, man.
But it's very clear, the no trespassing sign.
Yep.
It's on it's right in the front of the gate. It's like no trespassing. It's the only
I'll
sign on the gate.
Let me tell you a story, man. When I was like 16, I think, I got asked by some chick off like MySpace or something to come with her to a protest.
Okay.
It was an Iraq war protest, I think, in Chicago.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah, I'm down. I hate the war, right?
Yeah, sure. I want to get laid.
Well, no, for me, I was like,
I'm just messing with you, man. Go ahead.
I was like, dude, I was punk rock. I was writing all these punk rock songs, and I was like, yeah, F war. Ugh.
Yeah.
And so I showed up, and we like marched around and like the loop or whatever. Some far lefty, dudes. Maybe I can't remember how old. Maybe I was 17 or 18. But these like far lefty types in all black were shoving cops, knocking them down. And like the bleeding heart type hippie liberals who were organizing it got angry, and they were like, stop, don't do this, and like pushed him away and like helped the cop back up. We marched around, and then finally we got to, I think it was Grant Park, Millennial Park, whatever they named it, I don't know.
Okay.
And then someone announced the protest is now going to join the teachers' strike. And I was like, what?
The what now?
The teachers, college professors were striking at a nearby university. So they were like, everybody go join them. And I was like, what? I was like, I don't care about their salaries.
Yeah,
I'm talking about war in a foreign country. Yeah. They all went up and joined them.
Wow.
And so I stopped. And then some of these like far lefty types were straggling behind. And once they started to walk into the park, this one woman turns around. She goes, "Are you coming? You're going to join us?" And I got really angry. And I was like, they're talking about getting more money for their 6-figure cushy job or whatever as tenured professors. Yeah. And we're talking about war in a foreign country. Yeah. And I just snapped. There's I was
overlap.
Like, F these people and F anybody who's going to walk away. I'm going to keep walking.
Yeah.
And I was by myself, and I just left. And I was like, that was really disillusioning for me. I was like, these people don't know what they're talking about.
Right.
These people who were marching just joined a strike and then pretended like they knew why any of these people cared. And I was like, get out of here, dude. You have no idea what you're talking about. You've done no research. You have no idea who these people are. You have no idea what they're fighting for. And you just go and stand there.
It's because
Morons.
It's because of the cool points. They want to be cool. What's cool? Standing up for the minority, standing up against the man.
It's like one of the guys was talking about needing a car or something.
It's
like
just,
his car broken down.
It's like, unless you actually know the research and understand what you're doing, what are you doing?
So that's why in my family, the funniest thing is the posts coming from the white part of my family are all like, we have to be good allies and stand up and fight for the rights of people. And the posts coming from the Asian side of my family are like, Trump is clearly in the right on this one. And I'm like, what is wrong with everyone?
What is going on?
This is not supposed to be this way. You'd think it'd be the white people being like, I'm very fragile. How dare you challenge my status? And the poor minorities would be like, we need help because the evil whites. No, it's not even like that. I get hit up by the Asian part of my family very often, just being like, America, woo.
Yeah.
Not all of them.
I love it.
But it's just nothing. You know what, man? Nothing makes sense. And so you have right now. You have wave. It comes and goes in waves, I guess. And, and one of the things I've said is like Republicans happen to be right. It's not so much Republicans at all, actually. It's conservatives tend to be right.
It's the people in the middle of the bell curve. We got the left, we got the right, and then we have most of everybody who's like, what is going on with these crazy people?
They'll shift a little to the left, a little to the right, back and forth.
Sure,
right?
Yeah, sure.
And so sometimes
it's a dance of life.
You have the left, and sometimes it's the right.
Right.
Now it's like it's disheartening to see Jon Stewart. Clearly, I have no idea what he's talking about.
Oh no,
he's been so out of the game for so long. It's like, yeah, where are the? I mean, Bill Maher still exists. It's weird because he's got Trump derangement syndrome very severely.
Yeah, he does.
But he calls it out correctly, so often.
It's true. Yeah,
and I said some really dumb things about the economy.
Yes,
he's like, if a recession gets rid of Trump, bring on the recession. It's like, you realize people die in recession, right?
Yeah, right.
But at least he's what was the most recent thing he talked about? I can't remember. It was something about white people stop being offended for other people.
Yeah, that's
like
exactly what he was saying.
He's like, you
I would
can't-
love that.
He's like, how do we?
I mean, it's not just white people though. Come on, it's
mostly white
anyone.
people, bro.
Anyone can. Sure, there's no denying that, but it's like anyone can have that complex where they have to be offended for someone else. It's like
Dude,
we gotta just let that go. Come on.
You know what the funny thing about White Fragility is?
What?
That book?
The book.
Is that like the most fragile white people are the people who are promoting that book.
Yep.
Yeah, that's true.
For real though.
Look,
like,
this justifies why I'm so fragile.
Yes,
well,
exactly.
there's a video of a white woman yelling at a
Oh,
black
man.
female cop, and she's holding up a sign and screaming, and the back of the cardboard she's holding says "fragile" on it.
I know.
funny.
And I
love
was
that.
like, that's just so perfect.
It's pretty
So-
good.
And then
Spot on.
somebody
That's
asks
funny.
her, they're filming, they're like, do you not see the problem with you yelling at this black woman? And she's like, she's part of the system. I can fight racism. I have to do it. And it's like, you are so fragile. You snap in 2 seconds.
And they
Like,
all do. They all snap. It's an emotional trigger that they just go, ah! I'm like,
You know-
whoa, I was just trying to have a logical conversation with you. It happens all the time. It's crazy.
You know that Rick and Morty episode where Rick is making the little robot?
I don't know.
They're at the breakfast table.
Oh,
Butter.
yes.
And then he
Yeah.
makes a little robot, and then the robot goes, what is my purpose?
To spin the UFO.
No,
I meant
and
to
he goes,
serve you butter.
you pass butter. Or no, he goes, pass the butter, and it pushes it, and then it goes, what is my purpose? You pass butter. And then it looks at his hands, and it goes, oh my God. I laughed so hard when I first saw that, but it
That's
reminds
great.
me of like, what do you think would happen when all of these like fringe, lefty, woke white women who are leading the charge, because it is like a large proportion, a plurality of this group is white women, when they realize they're the Karens.
They want all the attention.
No, what do you think they do when they realize they're the Karens? When like the Karen was you the whole time?
Oh man,
Because it is.
eye opening.
There's think about it. How
All
many,
I could picture is that one woman getting on her knees and screaming, no!
Right. Now think about this. How many videos have been released of Karens?
Oh, so many.
But in the single digits in the past year, right?
Oh, I don't know.
5?
Really? I
Yeah.
thought it'd be more than that.
There's the
Maybe
there's
10.
the woman in the park with the dog.
Yeah.
There's the woman with the guy with the Black Lives Matter on his porch. What else?
Just like
What else is there?
viral
There's a few.
viral
So,
Karens.
I've seen a few like in stores. There was a lady who got slapped across the face by a Hispanic lady for calling her names, and a bunch of other middle-aged ladies get in trouble by calling people names. But
So look-
it's not that many.
Of the high-profile Karening moments,
Yeah.
there's been like single digits.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
Now,
Well, that's because it's probably not that many Karens.
no,
They're
no, no,
they're
nope,
a
incorrect.
minority.
You gotta let me finish.
Oh goodness.
These videos of white women at protests screeching at the top of their lungs, demanding the supervisor from the police,
Mm-hmm.
yelling patriarchy over the past several years.
So we are seeing Karens all over the place. then.
Right.
That's what you're saying.
The point I'm making is
There's all sorts of them.
when they promote these like racist Karens,
Mm-hmm.
there's like 7. And when we see videos of these SJW Karens, there's like
Oh, Big Red.
3,000.
Oh my gosh.
Okay.
Exactly. She's a Karen queen.
Classic. Yeah.
Yeah, Big Red. You know Big Red?
Mm-mm.
Oof. Patriarchy. Man, look. You see that video of the woman screeching at the black woman holding the fragile sign?
Yeah.
That's a Karen.
Totally.
What's the difference?
It's the same.
She's
You're right.
screaming at a black woman. Look, you showed me a video.
About Black Lives Matter.
Yeah,
right.
Seriously. The
So listen.
irony's lost.
Oh,
you show me a video of a white woman screaming at a minority and say it's a Karen, and then you show me the same thing from the Black Lives Matter activists, and I'm like, why is that not a Karen? It's literally the same components.
You're right.
And there's way more videos of white women screaming at black people.
They're still minorities.
From the left.
They're still minorities.
Who are?
Those Karens.
What do you mean minorities?
Those are. It's a minority group who are the new age Karens. That's a minority.
What do you mean a minority group? You mean
The
politically?
majority of humans in America, I mean, we're talking American politics right now, so it's like I think the American woman is a majority over the minority Karen screamers that we're seeing. That are
68% of millennial women are Democrats.
sure, but millennials make up how much of the population compared to all of humans that
Well, Gen Z is the biggest. Every next generation is bigger than the previous.
Sure, Karens exist, but
No, millennials,
everyone's pointing at them going, wow, look at those Karens.
except when it's leftist Karens, which is the overwhelming majority of Karens.
Yeah. Okay.
That's the point, because they're not self-aware. They haven't yet realized the Karen. They were the Karen the whole time.
Yeah.
So that's the point. That's the point I'm making. Like,
Oh, man.
what do you think happens when they finally have this like reality snap, where they look at their hands like, I'm a Karen. It's me.
Do you think
just like that.
they're all going to be in a room just reeing at each other? Ah!
Yeah. They're all gonna
Karen!
be
Mirrors.
they're all gonna be demanding the manager.
Oh my gosh.
I want to speak to your manager.
I just got a good
and
idea.
It just keeps
You know what
going
you do?
down around. Well, if you want to speak to my manager, I want to speak to your manager.
And then it turns out it's a loop of managers. It's a big circle of Karens, and each Karen in front of them is their own manager. Is like,
Oh my goodness.
and so they're like, they turn around. Who's your manager? That's my manager. I want to speak with your manager. And then it finally comes back to them. They're like, I'm the manager, but you're my manager. But
I'm the Karen.
Cue the Spider-Man meme of them pointing at each other. Wait,
Karens.
Exactly.
what?
I've seen way more videos of angry white women
Yeah.
screaming at minorities from the left than I have from anything
I
conceivably.
want all the attention. That's all I'm seeing right there.
Yeah.
I wonder why it is. You know?
Stop.
Like, what is it? Toxic femininity?
No, it's because everyone wants to be valued. At the core of us as human beings, we want to be appreciated, loved, and needed. I don't care who you are. You want that. You want to have a purpose. If we don't have any of those things, we go a little cuckoo. People are going cuckoo.
Have you seen the video of the woman with the fragile sign? Right?
Yeah, I've seen that.
The look on her eyes, man.
Yeah, they're
She's like bugged out. Like,
it's, right. It's when you lose, you don't have a purpose, and your screws start getting really loose, and then they start popping off.
Yeah.
And then everything just starts jumbling apart, and then you are crazy.
That may be.
You get that.
Or perhaps their brains were taken over by alien brain slugs, and that explains UFOs. Thanks for checking out this clip from the Timcast IRL podcast. We do the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. If you want to catch the full show, tune in to this channel, subscribe, hit the like button, or check us out on iTunes and Spotify, and we will soon have this podcast up for free on all podcast platforms. Thanks for hanging out, and we'll see you all in the next episode.